Hello, this is Ibrahim Muqdad, and I am going to talk about comparing two images using OpenCV and Python 2.7. This video is basically a continuation to the previous videos I've been making on OpenCV, and hopefully this tutorial will make you do interesting things. So let's jump right in. I've prepared the images that we want to compare. I've prepared them right here. So what we're going to do, this is basically one.jpg, which is an ice cream image. I've just copy and pasted this image to 2.jpg. So these images are the same. However, on 3.jpg, I've added a dot here. Hope you can see it. So we want to be able to detect the dot and tell if the images are the same or not. I've also added this image here. This is a banana. Now this is an exact copy. I duplicated this one. Banana 1 and banana are the same. However, in banana 2 I've added a line, so we want to be able to detect the line here and tell if the images are the same. Now this is very simple and very straightforward. Let me go ahead and create a new file to start coding. As always, we need to import cv2 and import numpy as np. Now, as in the previous videos, we've seen how to load an image using OpenCV using imread. So I'm going to load the first image and store it in image 1 using cv2.imread, and then we're going to supply in the path to the image. Since my source code is going to reside in the same location where the images are, I understand this is not a very organized way, but this is just for simplifying things. It's just for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to supply in just the name of the image, and then I'm going to load in the second image, same approach using imread, and then supply in the name of the image like so. Now we've loaded the two images. Now to tell, there is a method in OpenCV that does the comparison for us, or basically that returns the difference in the two images. So that's simply called subtract. So cv2 put subtract, and then we're going to give in the first image and then the second image. So this would result in an image or an array of zeros. We're going to store this in difference variable, and to elaborate further, the difference, if the images are the same, this will be all zeros. If there are difference in the images, this will not be all zeros. So we know now, if this one is all zeros, the images are the same. So what we need to do now, we need to use a numpy, sorry, we've named it np, numpy function called any. So basically what any does, this will return true if there is a true array. Like, what do I mean by this? If this one was all zeros, and the np.any will return false. Let me write it here. If difference is all zeros, it will return false. It will return true if it's a true array. It's a non-zero array. So we're going to give it in the array that we've named here, the difference. So this one will return, we'll store this, the results will store it in results variable. So this will return false if the images are the same. What we need to do is we want to make it easier for us to answer the question, are the images the same? We want to say true if the images are the same. However, this one returns false if the images are the same. So what do I mean by the same is basically, if the images are the same, it means that this array is all zeros. So we're just going to invert. So if it's np.any, which means the arrays are the same, it will return false, and not will make it true. So in this case, what we'll do here is we test result. If true, what we're going to print, I know there is a typo there, I'll fix it in a bit. The images are the same. Correct this, result. Now, if else, which basically this is false, it would mean that the images are not the same. So what we want to do, we want to store the image as we have done in the previous videos using im.write, and then we're going to store it under the name result.jpg, and then we're going to supply in the difference variable, which contains the image, the difference in the images, like so. And then we're going to print the images are different. Let's go ahead and save this one. Let me call this image comparison. Come on, like so. And then we're going to run it using F5. Oh, the F result is, come on, there's a typo here. Save again and run. so the images are the same. Now we know that the first image and the second image are the same. Let's go ahead and compare the first image and number 3. So instead of 2 here, let's give it the name 3. And then we want to be able to see the difference. So the images are different. Let me go ahead and check if there is a result. Yeah, here it is. Let's see if there is. Oh, here it is. Here is the dot. It was able to detect the dot. If we went back to the original image, here is the difference between the first image and the second image. This is the difference here. Let's, for a better example, let's use banana. So the first image and the second image should be the same. So let's go ahead, banana 1. So we are basically comparing this one and this one. They should be the same because I just copy and pasted them. And the images are indeed the same. Now let's go ahead and compare banana to banana 2. And instead of 1, let's run it. And the images are different. Let's go ahead and check results. And there is the difference in the two images. So the process was very simple. A quick recap. I've loaded the images that we want to compare. Of course, I've loaded the libraries we need, OpenCV and NumPy. I've loaded the images that we want to compare. I've used the subtract method to get the difference between the two images. And then I've used numpy.any to tell us if this array is an array. If this was all zeros, it will give us false. And we just inverted the false for easier readability. So if the images are the same, this will contain true, and we will output the string. If the images are different, we're going to store the difference in result.jpg and print the images are different. So that's it, and I hope that was helpful. Of course, there are other methods to compare two images. You might find that there is other approaches, say like comparing the indexes, comparing the hash keys, converting an image to hash, and of course there are several other methods that one could actually use. For example, there are of course in NumPy there are several other methods instead of using any, but this is basically consumes less memory and stuff. There is the np.all, and of course there are several other approaches you could actually utilize. There is also the comparison. There is basically several ways, numerous ways you could actually use to compare the images. Anyways, I hope that was helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them my way. And have a good day. Goodbye.